In this video, I'm going to share my 3 tips to being an awesome podcast guest. I'm Brent Stutzman, the owner of Brand Your Practice, and I've hosted and guested on several podcasts, and here's how to give your listeners an amazing audio, video, and content experience. Here's why these 3 things that we're going to talk about are important. First, you want the listener to actually remember you and your content. You want to be remembered as the expert in the area you're talking about. Second, you'll provide the podcast host with quality audio and video to share with their audience. Okay, so let's jump right in. My 3 tips to being an awesome podcast guest. Tip number 1, give the listeners an amazing audio experience. Here's how you do it. First, you find a quiet room where you can reasonably expect that there will be no interruptions or background noises like children yelling, loud fans, or noise coming from outside your house. This is especially important if you live on a busy street. Second, use headphones. This will cancel out any echoing or feedback issues that could occur, and it will really clean up your audio and allow the host and your listeners to have an amazing audio experience. Headphones that you can plug into your computer are the best, such as these types of headphones. You can see they have an 1/8" jack. We'll zoom in there for you. And they're all wired, nothing wireless, and you just plug them right into your ear and you can tuck them behind your head, and it has like a nice kind of broadcaster look to it. Or you can just use big old clunky headphones like this. They still plug in and they work great. So use wired headphones. If you don't have wired headphones, Bluetooth headphones can work, but I find that they often struggle to connect to computers, and occasionally the batteries die out and that interrupts the flow of the podcast. My philosophy is do everything you can to minimize interruptions. So, at a minimum, find a quiet room and always wear wired headphones. All right, tip number 2. Give the listeners an amazing video experience. Many podcasts are recorded with video, including the one that you're probably going to be on. And to help us with this, I'm going to have a version of myself back in 2020 talking about the 2 things you want to avoid if you want to give clients an amazing telehealth experience. I promise it's relevant. Let's roll the clip. The first mistake you want to avoid is poor video angles. Whenever you meet with a client in person, you're probably sitting in chairs and on couches that keep you at eye level. And this should also apply to your video telehealth sessions. You want to have your camera at eye level. If the camera angle is too low, your client will be staring up at your nose, and it kind of creates this I'm above you effect. If your camera is too high, then you have a security camera look, which isn't good either. Here's the trick that videographers and photographers use. It's called the rule of thirds. The way they frame a shot is that they use the rule of thirds principle. The way the rule of thirds works is that it places the subject, and it's usually with their eyes, somewhere on this grid. This produces a natural looking feel to the picture. Now watch how you respond when there's a poorly framed image. How does this make you feel if you had a telehealth session where I was in the bottom corner of your video feed the whole time? It would be really awkward, right? It'd probably make you feel a little uncomfortable, and you probably want to fix it. So if you keep your camera at eye level and place it in the middle on the upper third of the frame, like this, the video that you're now seeing, this will give your client a better telehealth experience. Okay, a quick bonus tip on camera angles. If you're using a computer camera that's on the top of your computer, have your video application as close to the top as you can get to that camera. That way, when you look at your client, your eyes are pointed towards the camera, so it looks like you're providing really good eye contact. Some of you might be asking, well, Brent, that's a good idea, but I have a laptop and I sit at my kitchen table or my desk and I can't get it to eye level. But you could just get some of those big, thick counseling books that you paid hundreds and thousands of dollars for and just prop your laptop up to eye level. Or you could get one of those laptop lifters that gets your laptop off of the desk. If you don't get the camera angle right, your client will not experience positive eye contact with you, and it will make them feel like you don't care. Even though you are looking at them at the video screen, they are not seeing your eyes on the other end. So keep your video application window up towards your camera so you can make better eye contact. When it comes to video, remember these 2 things. Keep your face and eyes on the top third of your screen, and put your telehealth application towards the top of your screen to make good eye contact using your video camera. The second mistake you need to avoid making is dim lighting. Lighting is so important. Imagine a client walks into your office and you had the room almost completely dark. That would really throw them off. So here are 2 crucial things you need to avoid when it comes to lighting. Don't have your appointments in a dark room. Now, this might be obvious, but I see this all the time. Your clients should be able to clearly see you. It's important for your clients to see your eyes and your body language. The first thing you need to do, if possible, is to sit in front of a window or in a room where there's a lot of natural light. If you're in a darker room, just bring a lamp over to your desk. Just get light closer to your face. Don't let the only thing lighting your face be your computer screen. One of my clients has a window in her office, but it doesn't provide enough light. So she bought a desk light, something like this, for her desk to provide just a little more light for her telehealth sessions, so her clients could see her more clearly. The second lighting mistake to avoid, and I see this all the time, is when someone has a major light source like a window or a lamp behind them instead of front of them. This creates what I call the witness protection video effect. You all know what I'm talking about. For example, I'm going to turn off my main light source in this video that's hitting me right in the face, and watch what happens. I go dark, and you can't see my face. You just see a silhouette.
Don't do this to your clients.
Don't have your main light source behind you, but in front of you. Always have the stronger light source coming at you and hitting your face and not from behind. Thanks, Brent. Okay, on to tip number 3 on how to be an awesome podcast guest. Tip number 3 is this: give the listeners amazing content they will remember. The best way to do this is to have your content in the form of a listicle. A listicle is something like 3 signs of substance abuse in teenagers, or 5 common signs of anxiety and what to do about it. Listicles like these will help your host and your audience organize the content in their minds. If you're just getting started, structure your talking points like 3 items to do X, or 3 tips to accomplish Y, or 3 ways to discover Z. Here's why this is important. First, sticking to 3 points will ensure that the podcast will not be too long. And second, people will actually remember the content you worked hard at creating. And third, it will be easier for you to talk about and to remember during the interview. So, stick to a simple listicle format for your content. Also, it's okay to have your talking points written out on your computer or on a piece of paper. It's okay to read from them or to reference them during the podcast. You don't have to memorize everything. All right, you've made it this far, so I have one bonus tip for you. And here's the bonus tip. Have a consistent internet connection. Now you're probably thinking, Brent, yeah, I know this, but you can't record a remote podcast without a solid internet connection. Here's my better looking self again, explaining how to do that. You need a solid internet connection. Having a solid internet connection is like having your office space open with the lights on and the doors unlocked so you can have a session with your client. If you don't have a consistent internet connection, it's like your office is closed. Your internet connection doesn't have to be fast. It just has to be consistent. You need at least 2 megabytes of consistent upload speeds and at least 2 megabytes of consistent download speeds. So here are a few things you can do to make sure your connection to the internet is optimized for video telehealth. The first one is check your internet speed. Go to speedtest.net. It's free, it's easy to use, and it'll give you a quick glance about how consistent and how strong your internet speeds are. My other tip is to plug directly into your internet router. If you can plug directly into your router, this is the best option. All you need is an Ethernet cable and possibly an adapter depending on your computer. I need a USB-C to Ethernet adapter from my MacBook Pro in order to plug directly into my router. Most likely, there are other devices wirelessly streaming Netflix, music, YouTube, videos, whatever, at the same time, and this will slow down your internet speeds. It's kind of like an interstate highway. If there's a lot of devices on your wireless router and streaming content, then your wireless connection speeds will be slow because there's so much traffic on it. But if you plug into your router, it's kind of like you're in the express lane or the carpool lane. You will have the advantage of having your own private lane with more consistent speeds than with a wireless connection because there's so much traffic on it. If internet speed is a problem, just kindly ask those on to stop streaming videos while you're holding a telehealth appointment. If you can't connect directly to your router, then get as close as you can to your router with a wireless connection. The closer you are to your wireless router, the stronger the connection and faster the speed. Okay, there's my 3 tips on how to be an awesome podcast guest. My team at Brand Your Practice understands that there are millions of people struggling with their mental health. And guesting on podcasts and sharing your knowledge is one way they can start the process of healing. Because when people receive quality and compassionate mental health care, lives are saved, families are restored, and the world is a more hopeful place to live.